I know that Jay-Z is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch Beyoncé with other men. Ray J, from what I heard, even before all this happened, was one of the guys that used to smash Beyoncé while Jay-Z would watch. Diddy, as we know, is into those things.
And she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
People can't help but notice how suspicious it looks that Ray J is always jumping in to defend Jay-Z and Beyoncé every chance he gets. Word on the street is that Ray J isn't just some loyal friend. Allegedly, he's the one cleaning up all their mess behind the scenes. And it doesn't stop there. The whispers claim that Ray J and Beyoncé were actually hooking up right in front of Jay-Z while he watched. Allegedly, that's the kind of wild situation that was going down. And here's where it gets even messier. People are saying Brandy knows all about her brother's secret with Beyoncé. And yes, the rumors go as far as to say there's even a tape floating around somewhere. Allegedly, of course. Now, I haven't seen it myself, but I'm spilling what's already been spilled. And let me tell you, this tea is boiling hot. Fans have been side-eyeing Ray J for years, wondering why he's always first in line to protect Jay-Z and Beyoncé when their names start spinning in drama. It's like the second their reputation takes a hit, here comes Ray J preaching about respect, loyalty, and unity, like he's their personal spokesperson. Take this for example. When Jaguar Wright went on Piers Morgan Uncensored and started airing out Hollywood's dirty laundry, putting Diddy and Jay-Z's names in the mix, Ray J wasted no time coming to the rescue. He told people, "We gotta move away from this type of destructive energy and focus on building, not tearing down." The timing and intensity of his defense made people suspicious all over again. Because why is Ray J always the loudest one shutting down accusations against them? Our culture needs more truth and integrity, not chaos and confusion. That's exactly what people were shouting when these stories started flying around. Folks were locked in, listening. But then came the question, is any of this even true? Because what's being claimed is outrageous. Ray J himself even said once he saw the story about him and all the wild claims about his past, that's when he realized these people were straight up making things up. He called them a complete liar and said he had zero respect for anything they were saying. And then he went further, blasting them for disrespecting Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Jay-Z is an OG. Don't ever disrespect Beyoncé, he warned. But this wasn't the first time he's gone to bat for them either. People are starting to ask why Ray J is riding so hard for the Carters, like his own reputation and survival depend on it. And according to the streets, maybe it really does. Allegedly, his life and career are tied up with the Carters way more than we've been led to believe. Enter Jonathan Hay, Rihanna's former publicist. Yes, the same guy who was in the mix during her early Pon de Replay come-up days. His name has been popping up because he's also been linked to this scandalous narrative. Jonathan himself allegedly hinted that Ray J and Beyoncé really did hook up, and the wildest part? Jay-Z was supposedly right there watching it all go down. This is giving full-on Hollywood swingers club energy. And to make it even messier, Jonathan was already at the center of speculation back then because of all those rumors about Rihanna and Jay-Z's alleged fling. He actually sat down with All Hip Hop not too long ago and spilled even more tea about this historical scandal, which sent the gossip blogs into overdrive. Jonathan spilled that after he failed to get Rihanna a spot on MTV News and couldn't stir up the buzz he wanted. He snapped and decided to drop the alleged affair rumor out of pure frustration. He admitted he was furious with Jay-Z at the time because, according to him, Jay was more focused on Tiara Marie. There was also all this chatter that Jay-Z had his eyes on a rapper named Lady Sovereign, who he actually ended up signing just months later. This was the kind of industry mess Jonathan Jonathan was swimming in, and it only fueled his anger even more. And if that wasn't enough drama, Jay-Z was also reportedly taking shots at Emile, which led her to quit the music scene entirely. She ended up moving to North Carolina to raise her kids, far away from the spotlight. This is the same Emile who claimed Beyoncé definitely wanted to hook up with her. And soon after she made that claim, she practically vanished from the industry. People still whisper about how that whole situation played out because it's one of those scandals that refuses to die down. Jonathan went even further, saying that after all this, he started drawing attention from the feds. He claimed that federal agents were tracking him closely ever since his run-in with Lanz on Rivera. And then his name allegedly got dragged into some mess connected to R. Kelly during their joint tour. According to Jonathan, one day unmarked cars rolled up on him, and the intimidating men inside introduced themselves as a federal task force and demanded to speak with him. The way he described it had people clutching their pearls because it sounded straight out of a movie. Powerful people, federal heat, and dangerous secrets all colliding at once. Jonathan said he followed the agents, shaken and in full-blown panic mode. He described sitting in a cold, makeshift interrogation room, heart racing, while they grilled him with questions. That's when the weight of it all hit him. The feds weren't playing around. According to him, they made it clear they were investigating Jay-Z for allegedly being involved in explicit activity with Rihanna when she was still underage, and even accused him of moving her across international borders illegally. The way Jonathan told it, the agents flat out said Rihanna wasn't the only one. There were supposedly many others, and that revelation shook him to the core. After that, Jonathan started dropping bombshell after bombshell about Jay-Z and Beyoncé. He even claimed Jay-Z had very specific private preferences, including a taste for transgender women. Allegedly, of course.
Dame Dash knows when they were going on tour that Jay-Z used to have transgender women on there. On the tour bus, he knows that. He knows that Jay-Z used to prefer transgender women. So I don't know why. I wish Dame Dash would come out and, say everything, but maybe in his own way, he's trying to, protect the hip hop culture and knows how many people could be crushed if he came out and really spoke about Jay-Z's secrets.
But what really had people's jaws on the floor was Jonathan's claim that Jay-Z enjoys watching Beyoncé with other men because that's the kind of thing he's into. He didn't hesitate when he said it either, which made the whole story sound even wilder. And here's where Ray J comes right back into the mess. Jonathan alleged that Ray J was one of the men Beyoncé was hooking up with while Jay-Z sat back and watched.
But yes, Ray J, from what I was told, from being inside at the highest level, that Jay-Z likes to watch Beyoncé with different men, such as Ray J.
Can you imagine the level of scandal that claim carries? What's crazier is that a lot of people aren't even shocked by it. Why? Because the streets have been whispering for years that Beyoncé allegedly has a reputation for living a little too freely behind the scenes. So when people hear about her supposedly linking up with Ray J in front of Jay-Z, the reaction isn't disbelief. It's more like, oh, that sounds about right for Hollywood. The confidence with which Jonathan laid it out just made it all the more believable. For years, there's been chatter that Beyoncé was being passed around back in the day, and some of those stories get real dark. One of the wildest allegations ties into the tragic death of Pimp C. The rumor mill has long whispered that Pimp C had his hands on an alleged tape of Beyoncé and was planning to leak it. And the streets claim Jay-Z made sure that never happened by allegedly taking him out before he could move forward.
Who was in this Pimp C tape?
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage. But I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man. Whoever it was, they would have to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out
Okay.
A lot of people figured out because, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose.
DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia even spoke up about how the details surrounding Pimp C's death just weren't adding up. He said Pimp's manager described finding his body laid out like he was praying, but with blood around him, like he might have been hit. They suspected a blow to the head, but the scene was confusing because there was blood everywhere. According to Paul, Pimp was on his knees, candles around him burned all the way down, which suggested he'd already been gone for at least a day since he always kept those candles lit when he slept. The eerie details only fueled suspicions that foul play was involved. And when you add in the already rocky history between Jay-Z and Pimp C, the rumors only get louder. Record executive Greg Taylor dropped another layer of drama on the Art of Dialogue podcast when he revealed a heated phone exchange between the two. After the deal was locked for Jay-Z and UGK to collaborate on Big Pimpin', Taylor said he called Pimp C to deliver the news. But here's the twist. The call was on speakerphone, and Pimp didn't hold back. Right then and there, he dissed Jay-Z, saying the money Jay was promising them should actually go straight to Tupac's mother.
And I'm like, Phil, stop whatever you doing right now. I told you what's going down with Jamal when you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. All we wanted was $100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm watching Dan with the checkbook. He writing it out. He was like, ain't that with, over there with Jay-Z? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell him to take that check to go give it to Tupac mama, man. He's gonna be stealing all my shit. I was like, what?
That kind of bold move showed the tension was real, and people have connected those dots to the darker theories around his passing ever since. But that's not the end of the whispers. Because there were also heavy rumors back in the day that Beyoncé and Mos Def were secretly messing around. Now, neither of them has ever gone public about it, and everything they've done together has been labeled as just professional. But behind the scenes, folks swear there was way more happening than just music and studio sessions. The streets have always buzzed about a romantic connection, and one story in particular keeps coming back up. Psy the Sound actually recounted a wild weekend he spent with Destiny's Child during Beyoncé's early grind, way before she became the global superstar we know today. At first, he admitted he wasn't even impressed. He saw her as just another pop singer trying to make it. But as the weekend went on, he said Beyoncé turned out to be way cooler than he expected, super down to earth. And here's the kicker. While telling that story, Psy made it clear that he remembered seeing Beyoncé and Mos Def definitely messing around during that time.
I DJ'd for Mos Def, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Mos Def kind of used to mess with Beyoncé.
He didn't even sugarcoat it. For him to drop it so casually, like it was nothing, had people convinced that there was some real heat between them back then. The rumor might not have been splashed across headlines at the time, but for those in the industry, it was an open secret that left a lot of eyebrows raised. And that's not even the half of it, because whispers have long suggested that Queen Bey was swinging both ways behind the scenes. The talk in the industry has always been that her private life was way more colorful than the polished image she put on stage, and the stories just keep stacking up. So when people hear rumors about her allegedly hooking up with Ray J while Jay-Z sat back and watched, they don't exactly clutch their pearls. To many, it doesn't sound far-fetched at all. In fact, some say it explains everything about Ray J's ride-or-die loyalty to the Carters. That constant energy he has defending them? Folks think it's less about respect and more about a guilty conscience. Like he's still tied to some hush-hush agreement that nobody's supposed to talk about. And it gets even crazier, because the word on the street is that Brandy, Ray J's own sister, allegedly walked in and caught Ray J and Beyoncé together back in the day. That little detail alone is what keeps people buzzing, because if Brandy really saw it with her own eyes, then Ray J's over-the-top protection of the Carters suddenly makes way too much sense. Yep, you heard that right. The whispers say Brandy herself supposedly walked in on Ray J, and Beyoncé caught up in a compromising situation. And just when you think the story can't get any wilder, folks are out here alleging that there's even a tape floating around. Some compare it to Ray J's infamous situation with Kim K, while others bring up Beyoncé's alleged tape tied to Pimp C. Whether this mystery tape actually exists, or it's just another urban legend, the internet refuses to let it die down. And the part that really blows people's minds? The thought of Brandy being a first-hand witness. Imagine your own sister stumbling into a scene like that with one of the biggest superstars in the world. It takes this saga to a whole new level of messy. That detail alone is why people can't stop talking, because if true, it explains so much about Ray J's ride or die protection of the Carters. Now, I can't say for sure what's fact and what's fiction, but this tea is way too hot to ignore. What do you think? Is Ray J's constant defense of Jay-Z and Beyoncé just loyalty, or is there something more sus going on behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.